Washington Post does a fact check on this infamous Moveon ad. What is the Moveon ad? It's they took General Petraeus right before his testimony, and they put up a full-page New York Times ad that said, "General betray us?" ? Fox News style, right? ? Hey, we're just asking a question, right? Fox News does it every single day. Democrats destroying America? ? I don't know. We're just asking. Democrats secretly working with bin Laden? ? I don't know. We're just asking. So Moveon's like, okay, well, we'll ask too. General betray us. We're just asking. So, and then they went on to state facts. And they said, look, he's cooking the books, and here's what the reality is. For example, did you know that in some of the accounting that the Pentagon uses, in order to count sectarian deaths, if you get shot in the back of the head, that counts, but if you get shot in the front of the head, that does not count. Because if you get shot in the front of the head and you're dead, that's not really a sectarian killing. I'd imagine it's a killing, but no, the sectarian ones only are in the back of the head. What happens if you get shot in the side of the head? Okay? So Moveon points this out. Another thing they point out is in some of the numbers that Petraeus used, they don't count car bombs. Really? That's from car bombs don't count? Would you like to ask the people who lost family members in those car bombs whether they count or they don't count? Look, of course he was cooking the books. Of course he was political. And they had fact after fact after fact. But what did the boys at the club think? The boys in the D.C. club didn't like that ad. It was so impolite. How dare you question people in power? Especially somebody wearing a military uniform. Don't you understand that we live in a state where the military is the top thing in the whole wide world? And if you ever question the military, you're a bad person? Or not even the military, but anyone inside the military. Oh, of course, unless you're a Republican, in which case you can eviscerate people inside the military. How many Fox News so-called analysts have I seen that talk that say terrible things about General Shinseki, General Abizaid, General Zinni, General Casey, General, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And how many ads did the Republicans run against Max Cleland, a senator who lost 3 limbs in Vietnam, as an Army captain? The Republicans ran an ad against him that put him and Osama bin Laden in the same ad. An Army captain. How dare they? Was there a Senate resolution against that? Oh, I must have missed that one. You know who was a lieutenant in Vietnam? John Kerry. 3 Purple Hearts. There's these guys called the Swift Boats. Do you remember those guys, the Swift Boaters? Yeah. Did you see President Bush condemning them? No. Did you see the Senate condemning them? No. What did President Bush do? No, look, I got no comment on that. I got nothing to do with that. And then he took one of the primary funders of the Swift Boat campaign, and he tried to make him an ambassador to Belgium. Nothing but promotions, okay? So if you attack the military or some people inside the military that you don't agree with and you're a Republican, free ride, no problem, do it at will. And it works. They defeated Senator Max Cleland. They defeated John Kerry. Okay? They did it with their demagogue. But if you ever dare criticize anyone inside the military, because remember, we're a military state, right? If you just criticize anyone inside the military, that's a shill for the Republicans. No, then you got trouble. Then the Senate's going to get up in arms and vote 72-25 to condemn you. And by the way, including half the Democrats, because they're blithering idiots. Because they think, hey, you know what? I bet I'll win if I keep helping the other party, because I'm stupid. So why don't I take their talking point and agree with it and vote with it and have that be the only thing that passes a Senate that is a majority Democratic Senate? Brilliant move, Democrats. Genius. What can you be proud of in this Democratic Senate? You pass an ad against someone who's trying to help you. And in favor of someone who's nothing but a political hack for your theoretical opposition. Genius move. Genius move. So, but all of that pales in comparison to my anger at the Washington Post. They do a so-called fact-checking story on this, on the Moveon ad. And they go down the list, and they agree with 75% of what Moveon said. Let me tell you the stuff they agree with. Yes, the car bombing stuff. They say, well, there was one slide in Petraeus' thing where they showed car bombs, but overall it didn't get included, right, in the general numbers. Yes, you're right. They're right about the shooting in the back of the head or the front of the head. In fact, the Washington Post did a whole story on it, right? They're the ones who broke the story. So you go down the list of specifics. They're right. The Iraqi violence. Is it up this summer versus the summers in 06, 05, 04, 03? Yeah, absolutely. They're 100% right on the facts, right? But here are the things that they disagreed with. Get a load of this. Moveon said, everyone agrees that this war is unwinnable. Okay. No, Bill Kristol doesn't agree. Dick Cheney doesn't agree. Say, oh, yeah, you didn't get your facts right, did you? Not everyone technically agrees that the war is unwinnable. Second major disagreement they had with the ad was, well, they said, we're not making progress when General Petraeus comes in here and talks about how we've made tremendous progress. Washington Post says, well, some people think we're making some progress, so we're going to count that against MoveOn. 4.5 years into this disastrous war in Iraq, where now the United States military has said if you are a U.S. civilian, you are not allowed to leave the green zone because you have a 100% chance of being murdered or kidnapped. Some people disagree about whether we're making progress. So you know what the Washington Post did in their illustrious analysis? At the end of agreeing with all of MoveOn's facts, except for these silly disagreements to be quote-unquote neutral, they have this stupid rating system out of Pinocchios, okay? 4 Pinocchios means you're an absolute liar. 1 Pinocchio means you're not lying very much at all. 3 Pinocchios means I'm calling you just short of a goddamn liar, okay? And you know what they did? They gave the MoveOn ad 3 Pinocchios. After they went and agreed with almost everything in the ad. Why? Because the boys in the club don't like the MoveOn ad. It bothers them. When they're playing racquetball, man, do they bitch and whine about it. You know, and then when they're sipping their iced teas and they say, tut, 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 these MoveOn kids are so unruly. Oh, they represent 3 million Americans? Oh, who cares? Those are the Americans that have no power. We're the ones with the power, and the boys at the club hate them. The boys at the club love the Iraq war. The boys at the club say that we're making progress, even though we're losing to Iraq 4.5 years into the war, and we don't even know who we're fighting. The boys at the club love the Washington Post, and the Washington Post loves them, and they don't want to disappoint them. They don't. Because the American people, when they say 70%, no, I'm sorry, nearly 80% say that we absolutely, positively have to leave within 2 years of Iraq, but the boys at the club don't agree. The boys at the club say we should stay through this presidency and maybe the next McCain or Giuliani presidency. So the Washington Post says, 3 Pinocchios. Hey, did I win? Did I win a prize, boys at the club? Did I win? Do you guys like me now? Can I eat lunch with you? You stupid, snobby pricks. Can I say that? Well, I don't know if I can because I just did. All right? I hope that, you get the prized invite to the right cocktail party and the right luncheon and the right clubs with your 3 Pinocchios. You could take your Pinocchios and shove them up your ass. That's what I think of the Washington Post.